Hi friends, this is another one of my favorite cards. It has cats, it has balloons, it has rainbow. I mean, what isn't there to love about it? But one of the questions I get asked all the time is how did I color the balloons to make it look like they are translucent? So where you can see one balloon behind the other one. So thought I would show you how I colored this today in our little mini Copic class. The first thing I am going to do is color the cat up. To color the cat, I use cool grays. I use C5, C3, C1. And I love, he's got a little round tummy. So I'm going to try to make his tummy lighter than the rest of them. So we're going to start down here and kind of flick up around that and around his belly. I think his chest is going to be whiter too. But I wanted to keep the cat real simple so that the focus would be on the balloons. It is such a cool effect that I did keep the cat coloring very simple for this. All right. So I'm just blending this out with C3. And again, like I said, super simple. Maybe we'll do the cat's tail. C3. Okay. And now we have C1. Just continuing to blend that out. All right, now his belly. So I want to try to preserve the cuteness of it. So I just put a little bit of C3 around the edges, and then I'm going to kind of swirl that in. And then I think I'm going to go back on there around the sides of it with the 5 and blend that out again. I think that's going to help that belly come forward. So I think I think this looks good. Hopefully. Okay. I always worry I'm getting off camera. Okay, cute. So I'm going to grab a pink and we'll put in the color in his ears, and then the cat is done. I think I'm just going to use a little bit of RVOO. It's a real soft, pretty pink. We'll put a little on his nose. Cutie, cutie, cutie. All right, so let's tackle these balloons. This first balloon is going to be the easiest of the balloons. So with my darker color, I want to keep my darker color towards the edges of the balloon. I don't want to be coloring in here. So I'm kind of just flicking around. This is going to help give the balloon shape. And now I'm going to start blending this out. This is BV01. Not a lot of difference between these two. But we're just working our way down. Again, this is the easiest of them to do. But we just don't want it to be too dark so we can see through it. If it's a black balloon, you're not going to probably see through it, right? So this is the BV000, and we're doing the center of the balloon with that, with the darker edges. So we have a nice, pretty little purple balloon. So we can get rid of our purples. We're all done with those. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go around the edge, just like we did with the darker one, which is RV04. Yeah, I don't think I used 06. I'm looking at my sample. And we know that that balloon, you can kind of imagine that it goes through there. But we don't want to do that with the 04. That's too dark. So what I'm going to do is with my 02, I'm going to just lightly, in a couple little places, kind of put where that line would go. And then out here, this is the 02, yep. And if you've ever used this color combination, you know that you have to work with your RVs. They're stubborn, as all pinks tend to be. Now this is RV 00. And again, I'm just blending out like normal. And I'm doing this first because this is wet and RVs are kind of a pain to blend. So I want to make sure I do that. And then a little bit out here, I'm going to flick along where that shape of the balloon is with this next color. And then RV 000, we're going to do the whole balloon. And we're going to just come in once, not a ton, but that gives that slightly pink hue to our purple balloon. So now we have a pink balloon behind the purple balloon. Can you guys see that? You see what you guys see in the camera. Let me pick this up. So you can see that you have that edge here, and then you have a tiny bit of pink in your purple balloon. So just like before, on the edges of this balloon, I'm going to flick in and do the edges with the B02. Okay, oops. Now I'm going to start blending that in with the B01. Okay, now with this one, we're going to kind of do a little bit of that imagining about where this balloon lives behind the purple balloon. So I'm kind of just lightly putting a line, not a line, it's not like you're drawing a line. You're kind of, let me pick this up and see if you can see that. Just kind of, I mean, I guess you would call that a line, right? But it's not. It's like a light flick, very tiny flick that you're putting just the illusion of the edge of that balloon in there. So now I'm coming in with my B00. You can add a little bit here if you want with the B00. You don't want to put a shadow here with that other, I think that's too much. I mean, technically, yeah, I guess it could. I don't know. I don't do that when I'm doing this technique. So I'm leaving the part here, even though that might be a true shadow, I leave that lighter just so the shadow I'm thinking about is in here, I guess. So now with my lightest one, just once, because I don't want to turn my balloon purple, or I'm sorry, balloon blue, I'm adding in a little bit of that blue, and now I can kind of see a blue balloon behind my purple balloon, which it doesn't change how it's done. You're still just going to put the dark around the edge of the balloon here, and I'm going to start blending that in towards this. Now this balloon is a little bit different shaped. It's going to go through the pink balloon and the purple balloon. I'm trying to decide, I think I did do it with this marker. So I think you're going to see just a little bit right here where the balloon would be the thinnest. It's going to be very thick here. Remember that, because they're two balloons. So here would be the thinnest. So I'm going to put a little bit of a line. This is very dark. Just so you know, that YR02, I don't know if you might want to do that with YR00. I think it'll be fine and I can fix that, but I think I'm going to have to go in and fix that a little bit, because that looks like the orange is on top of the purple. So I'm kind of glad that happened, because I can show you how I will go fix that. All right, so YR00. And I'm just going to blend this out so we can be done with this part of it at least. And then in this part here, I'm going to put a little bit of the YR00. Now I'm going to leave these out here for a second because I'm going to play here with my purples. So now I'm going to get my purples, my BVOO and my BVOO, and I am going to blend here a little bit. And it's going to push that balloon forward, I think. So whatever color is on top is going to be the one that looks like it's on top. Can you guys kind of see how that's pushing those other colors back? I might have to come back in here and add some blue, but that's fine. I'm pushing that orange down and lightening that up a little bit. I'm going to let that purple dry. It's very wet, so I don't want to go too nuts here. While that's drying, though, let me go ahead and get out some greens. And I'm not going to put anything in the purple balloon here for a second, but I can definitely color the outside of this so we can get that done. This is YG17. And it's another very dark color. So is Y13. And I don't want to make the same mistake, so I think what I'm going to do... I think it's going to be fine here in the end, but I don't want to have to go through that whole process again. Let me blend this out with Y11 so we have our green balloon all ready. No, I'm glad it happened because it's a good thing for you to learn and see how I would fix that. Okay, so I took a little break just to let the alcohol dry out of this, and it came back, and I think it actually looks pretty good. So the orange lightened up a little bit, but what I think I'm going to do here is come back in with these other colors that we did the inside of the balloon, and I'm just going to put a little of that back in. I think some of that got lost when I was blending out that orange, so I'm putting in a little bit of that pink again, and I think that looks good. So that was a lesson learned. Don't use too dark of a color. It's always better to go light and make it darker as you go. So let's do the blue balloon. So I'm just putting in a little bit of that blue to give that blue tint back. And I'm just putting in that little line again with my mid-tone. I purposely don't want to blend out the side. The sides of the balloon are going to be the lightest, so we don't want to go too nuts with this. I think my purple balloon, because of this little air, is a little darker than I would have liked it, but that's okay. I think that's fine. So I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to try it with this. So I'm going to put a little bit just here of green. And I'm just using YG11 because I don't want to make the same mistake twice here. And I'm going to blend that out with my blue, actually. So I have just a tinge of green in my balloon, like that. And I think I'm going to call this done. I will go ahead and cut this out. Okay, so this is the cat all glued onto the card. And I did want to point out that the cat's tail and the balloons hang off. And you have two choices in this scenario. If you want, you can put this in a 5x7 and mail it. But to me, I don't want to do that. And I'm okay with just taking my scissors and trimming the balloon and the cat's tail to fit the card. And I actually kind of think it's cool because it's like a window and it looks like the balloon is going up and the cat's kind of coming through the scene. The other little thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my glazed pen and I'm just going to put a little bit on the cat's eyes, and once that dries I will put a dot of the white on there. I'm also going to put a white highlight on my balloons. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial on how to color translucent balloons. This one is a little bit darker than the other one, but again, I do think that the effect is still there. You can still see the other balloons behind that. So, you know, balloons come in different colors. That's just the way it goes. If you have any questions, please give me, drop me a note and I'll get back to you. Thanks for joining me for this mini class, and I'll see you at the next one.